Hey everyone, this is Dr. Andy with AG Thrive, and I'm really excited to bring what I think is some really, hopefully good feedback on how to respond to your kids, like their performances, how to respond to their schoolwork in a way that's more likely to create a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. And if you don't know what those concepts are, well, I strongly encourage you to check them out, because they are, one, it's a huge buzzword right now in academics and teaching, but it's also incredibly linked to, I think even employers are looking for growth mindsets at the big companies and firms. So it's a big concept, and you definitely want your kid to try and really have a growth mindset. So, and we can create a link for that as well that describes what a growth mindset is. But the really quick version of that, growth mindset is much more focused on like effort and a process, whereas fixed mindset is focused on the results, the byproduct, right? And so you tend to see with a fixed mindset, it's much more focused on like being smart, being a natural, things just should come easy if you're really good at things. Whereas the growth mindset is focused on practice, right? That I create a process, and if I just keep working on that to get better, then that's the key to getting good at things. And what you tend to see is when kids experience adversity, that's where you really tend to see whether they have a growth or fixed mindset. So with a growth mindset, ideally when things get difficult, they almost like the challenge. They see it as an opportunity to just work harder and keep getting good at it, and they take on that challenge. You can see that. Whereas with a fixed mindset, if they've been told all along, you're such a natural at soccer, or you're so smart, that the minute that they have a setback or they don't do well is they start to question their identity, right? They start to get really down on themselves about the fact that they didn't match or measure up to this label that's been created about them. So, and what I've seen in my practice is it seems like that the dichotomy tends to really come out, especially in like junior high, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, around that time. And it seems to be correlated with when homework starts getting, the volume of it starts getting like, there's more of it, and it's getting more difficult. And I've seen that the kids that have always been told that they're so smart and have really developed kind of that fixed mindset, that's where you see them starting to miss assignments, starting to skip out. And it creates this really vicious cycle, right? Where they're now getting all kinds of negative feedback on that. They're getting disappointment, and you see the self-esteem just really take a dive. Whereas the growth mindset oriented kids, right, things get more difficult, but they just keep working harder. They've developed skill sets or practices that help them to really kind of rise above and have the resilience to rise above the adversity. So as a parent, you really want to focus on feedback that, kind of highlights the process that got them there, right? So your kid does really well on a test. To tell them that they're so smart seems like a really kind, loving thing to do. Perhaps the better thing, not perhaps, for sure the better thing to do is to say, I know how hard you worked on, studying, and you really put in a lot of work, and I'm proud of you for how hard you worked to do that, right? And there's tons of evidence that supports that the impact of focusing on the process is really, really beneficial, right? Your kid does really well at, their theater performance, telling them that you're so proud of, how much they rehearsed their lines and how much they've really, put into, kind of owning their character is much more likely, again, to have be beneficial for them in the long run. And even when it comes to how they solve problems, focusing on, I really love the creativity that you showed in solving that problem. These are all really great ways to give feedback or to respond to your kids' efforts or, kind of their attempts to do well in their endeavors. That is going to help them to really instill kind of that growth mindset. And I'd say the last thing, again, as is the case for, any parenting advice, who you are and what you do is probably even more important than what you say. So just trying to be aware of whether or not you have a growth mindset and trying to focus on the successes that you have or the setbacks that you have, and framing it in light of the effort that you're putting forth is a great, great, great way to model to your kids having a growth mindset and the benefits of that. So this is Dr. Andy with AG Thrive. Really appreciate being able to share this information with you. If you have any questions about any of this, please feel free to contact us or visit us at our website. And wishing you all the best in growing the life, love, family, and success you want and deserve. Thanks.